Have fun. Have fun. Hey guys, welcome to Kiwiradio.nz with your host Ralphie. Wow, we are in for a treat. As you can see, I'm not on my lonesome as I usually am. I actually have a fantastic friend and guest on the studio today. Chloe, or Coco Charles, I should say. Is it Coco these days? Or
Both is fine.
Coco, how you
Chloe
doing?
by day, Coco by night.
I love that, it's like superhero styles, Batman.
Yeah, totally.
Welcome to the setup, to the studio, and we are watching ourselves on the big screen too, because we know we're actually live streaming as well with 3 different cameras. So feel free to have a chat to us right now. If you're on the radio station, go to youtube.com/@Kiwiradio.nz. I like how you said this is like the tiny desk version of New Zealand.
Yeah, it's great. I'm loving it. There's so many awesome keys here. You know that line in B.O.B., all I need are keys and guitars.
Yeah.
And it's like we're in a garage with keys and guitars. Like, this is like my happy place.
This is great, isn't it?
It's good.
It's taken 2 years to get to this kind of setup. It's had a few sort of different versions.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's got a bit of a flow. And
yeah,
so
let's just have a moment for the awesome Sega. I've got so many memories of us playing this with my 2 boy cousins that had a Sega, and every school holidays I was like, right, let's play Sonic.
Yeah, well, it's all about the retro vibes. You've probably seen in Tiny Desk, I saw an interview saying that they want like little knickknacks in the background and make it a little fun. And I'm actually a huge retro gamer, so I'm glad you've kind of connected with that.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I mean, the thing is, I'm such a minimalist, but I've got this one room in my house that's like, this is like life goals for me, because I literally just bought Lundia shelving from like a storage unit place.
Yeah.
And that's just made me so happy, because suddenly I've got places for all my music stuff, because there is a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah. I've gone overboard, I know.
No, you haven't. It's so good. I just want to play all the little keyboards and.
Yeah, well, you can if you like.
Yeah,
It's up to you. We've got one piano set up for a bit of a live thingamajig, and I'm so honoured to have you here. We've had a few guests in person. So Jenny Smith was the last one. She's a really great country singer. But I found a piece of wood in the garden, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start like a sort of Hall of Fame. And so thank you for signing that and getting that started.
My pleasure.
And yeah, we're about 132 episodes in, and I can't believe I didn't think of it before, but you got to start somewhere.
Never. Yeah.
So thank you for starting that.
Oh, all good.
We can get straight into it if you like. No, I did promise I'll play 1 or 2 songs to see if anyone kind of joins us. They may or may not. It's a bit of a gamble because it is currently midday on a Wednesday, and we usually stream on the dot 7 p.m. every week on Tuesday nights, where this is a bit of an ad hoc. So we'll see how it goes. It'd be great to have a bit of interaction. So if you are again listening in on the radio station, please head over to youtube.com/@Kiwiradio.nz, where you can chat to us while we do our thing. We are a Kiwi music show, so I'm all about exposing the best here from New Zealand. Rowdy's Rose has been in the podcast before. They're actually a couple, husband and wife, country team, whatever you want to call it. They've got a brand new song called No Greater Love, and I think you need to check it out. We'll play that, maybe one more song, and then get straight into a bit of a live set for you guys. Someone's joined the YouTube channel, at least. There's 2 people watching. That's good.
Hello.
That parents, is it?
I don't know. Can we find out?
Can we find out who's listening to YouTube? You know where to comment. We'd love to hear from you. Oh, no, we lost a patient. It's down.
No.
I feel like, by the way, don't look at the counter.
Okay, yeah, no, that's all right.
Just don't look at it.
Oh, I don't know.
Because we do everything replays anyways, so it's going to be replayed in the future. So you're probably listening to this in the future as well. So that's always fun. And, of course, if you want to deep dive into the 132 episodes, there's an MP3 archive over there at Kiwiradio.nz. Before we get started, I want to say hello to upfm.co.nz, who are currently simulcasting today's live stream. So thanks to the team over there. Let's get started. Rowdy's Rose is the song I want to play to you right now, coming from New Zealand. It's called No Greater Love.
I watch you sleeping peacefully. Those little heart-shaped cheeks so pink. The love I have for you will never ever fade. You hold my heart in every way. I often wonder what to be. How tall you'll grow and what you'll see. I hope your life is filled with love, and you feel guidance from above. I'll do just everything I can to walk beside you and hold your hand. And when the road gets rough, just turn and look to me. I'll always be there when you need. Never be a day when I'm not around. Whether it's on earth or looking down. Anywhere you go, my heart will always be with you. There's no greater love than loving you. There's no greater love than loving
Kiwi Radio, that is Rowdy's Rose. Up next, I'm going to play a bit of Kev Hart, who has also been in the podcast. Really friendly guy too. He's been doing music for over 60 years, which is amazing. Definitely older than I am, so I don't know. Did they even have digital audio workstations back then?
Probably not.
He probably recorded straight to tape or something.
Yeah, amazing.
His name is Kev Hart, and I really like the guy. He's really fun, very insightful. You need to check him out. It's called Won't Take Me Back is the name of the track. And then up next, we've got the lovely Coco Charles singing some original music for you. Tiny Desk Styles. That should be fun. Playing on Kiwi Radio right now. Hope you enjoy it. Let's go.
Gonna cut my hair, gonna shave my beard, gonna change my look for one that ain't so weird. She won't take me back. Gonna iron my shirts, gonna shine my shoes. I won't play guitar, and I won't sing the blues. Sailing back, she won't 'cause failing me, she won't take me back. Failing me, she won't take me back. She won't take me back. She won't take me back. She won't take me back.
Kiwi Radio. That's got one of my favourite session musicians in there, called Danny McCrum. He is a great sort of like songwriter in his own right. Keb Hart has an amazing backing band, and I really think you should check him out. Now, you're singing some praise about Kiwi Radio there, Coco. How about...
Saying,
we'll try
on
not
the
to make it
record.
sound like an advertisement this time around, but you were saying some nice stuff.
I was just saying I like that you're championing New Zealand artists
Right.
and music.
Yeah.
And my impression of you and this kind of platform is that you're not ageist. Like,
Yeah.
you've got anyone and everyone on, which is great, because I've often felt, well, it's something I've been wrestling with for the last 18 months or so, basically, or since I started going grey.
Where's the grey though?
I just got my hair blonde.
We're both newish parents, right? So
yeah.
kids under
Well,
5 kind of thing.
No, I've got nearly 7.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So I'm 7 years
started
deep.
school already.
Yep.
My-
I've got 2 in school and then a 3-year-old.
What was that first year like having that kid go to school? Was it sort of like big moment?
Yeah, it was.
stars,
That
or-
first day was.
Yeah.
And people do hype it up, and I'm pretty chill. But when she had a bit of a wobbly, thinking, like when she looked at me a bit fearful, that's when I was like, "Ugh."
Aw.
But or both of them have thrived in the school environment, so it's been really good.
That's the best thing about having kids is you see that little personality that you've planted, and it's like, for example, my 3-year-old son, he's really into drums.
Yeah, so is mine.
Really?
He's got a little Ludwig Junior kit.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, we got it for Christmas for him last year.
Yeah.
And he said to me this morning, Mum, if you're really good, I'll do a beat for you.
Oh, nice. What'd you say to
He
that?
whispered it in my ear. I was like, yeah, cool. And then he's like, are you ready to hear the beat? And I was like, yeah, cool. And I'm having my coffee. He's like, come on, take your coffee upstairs. So I'm sitting on his floor with my coffee, and he's like, boom, boom. And then he catches the
cool.
cymbal. He's like, I'll do your trick. Shh, and catches it.
Yeah.
It's so cool. He's such a cute kid. I've actually got a song about him today, so we can play that.
Yeah, let's get into it, because you're really good at what you do.
Oh,
okay.
thank you.
So let's deep dive, because you mentioned you're kind of starting your career again post parenthood and stuff. So this is kind of like stage 2 of your
Yeah, it is.
journey.
It is.
But back in the day, I remember checking you out at a local pub and going, man, you're a slasher on the keys, and that got me thinking, okay, well, I'll find some music. So you're under the name, if you don't mind me saying,
Yeah.
Chloe Bartlett.
Yep, so that's my maiden
So
name.
the 2 singles that was on TV was Freak Out and Hitman, which are both really fun songs. To me, it was like Motownish jazz.
Yeah, definitely. Like we recorded both of them at York Street when that was
Yeah.
still around, and they
Yeah.
even put it on tape. And
Yeah, wow.
we had a really cool session band record on those ones, and it was just a real effortless process, to be honest.
I think we need a nod to those early days, because they are great songs.
Thank you.
So feel free to check them out on YouTube. But the one I like both, but particularly Freak Out to me
Yeah.
was great. It was really, it's got an excellent music video, very sparkly dress.
Yeah, and
I
that
have to say.
hasn't changed. I still love.
You love the sparkles?
Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
everyone's like, that's your signature. Like if I'm not wearing sparkles, it's like, what's wrong? Like today, this is like a
Yeah.
sparkly shirt.
Yeah, well, that's part of the fun of being an entertainer, right? You need sparkles.
Yeah,
I have an entertainer mum, so she was a singer at the tender age of 17, doing the
wow.
Japan circuit,
Oh, cool.
and man, it was all about shoulder pads and sparkles
Oh,
to
I've got
her.
my shoulder pads and I've got my sparkles. Yeah.
But it was so fun because it's like you put on a persona, I think, when you're on stage, right?
Yeah.
And it's an interesting take because at the podcast, I encourage people to talk because, you know, it's a radio show. We want to kind of, you know, be casual about talking and stuff. But when you're on stage, I think it's different. I think, to me personally, it's fun to just listen to the music. Sometimes if the artist talks on stage, it kind of breaks the trance. Where are you at, though, with your live shows? Do you talk a lot there? Or?
I do.
Yeah?
I say some crazy things.
Like what?
Oh, I just, all sorts. My husband often says to me, can you please not throw me under the bus?
Throw you? Do you throw him under the bus?
There is a few, I have done that. And it's not like our relationship's solid, so maybe I feel like I can just be honest. But I pride like honesty over just about everything, so I'm really transparent.
Shout out to our better halves because
Yes.
I have to tell a wife story. When we first met, she was having a yell at the DJ for playing terrible music. Turns out it was her ex-boyfriend, which made it even funnier. And she's this short little 5-foot lady and just going, like, play music. You're not doing your job properly. So she's that kind of outspoken but honest kind of person, which I really love. And whenever, she would, back in the early day when I had a band, she would be up front and she'd always like yell and almost heckle me at every show. She'd be like, stop talking, just play music. And to anyone else, like no one knew it was my girlfriend or wife now, but and they would be like, who's this crazy cat lady at the front? And it was to me it was funny because it kept me grounded.
Yeah.
It kept me like, you know, like especially in your early 20s. I think like a lot of musicians are very kind of like self-centric, you know, like because you're doing something, you feel like you're like, I don't know, like unique.
Yeah,
you're
you're
like,
trying to prove yourself
you-
as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
early 20s,
I
yeah.
noticed, even in my own writing recently, I think I've done a lot of like I songs, and I think maybe
Yeah.
I'm ready to just do a little bit more, something a bit less about me.
We have a lot of musicians listen to this podcast. So I did a songwriting weekend with Jason Bloom, who did like, you know, Britney Spears, you know, those kind of like Diane Warren styles, you know, they're the songwriters behind many artists.
Oh yes, yeah.
And the greatest takeaway from that weekend was Jason Bloom was saying some of the best songs are not like dictative, like it's like, don't do this, or, you know, it's about painting a picture that's really storytelling. Like it's about, like, say you see a tree blowing in the wind. So you talk about the tree is blowing in the wind. Like it's like descriptive, like you're almost like writing a book. Where sometimes some people kind of switch off when you say, don't look at that tree. Because you're like telling them what to do rather than trying to connect with a feeling.
Totally, it's that whole show don't tell situation.
Yeah.
Don't give too much away, or don't let someone kind of interpret or put their own meaning on something.
Yeah.
And I think when I first started out, I was a little bit too cryptic,
Really?
and now I've gone totally honest.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to maybe dial it back a bit just to be, because I noticed when I was at Coldplay recently.
Yeah.
I've gone to 3 of their shows now in the last 10 odd years.
Yeah.
And the show that we just had in Auckland a few weeks ago, I noticeably sensed a difference that they came to serve, not to
Wow.
be served.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of confirmed when I watched
Wow.
a documentary that they did on Apple Music. It was such
Yeah.
a good documentary. And he just said, we just want to create an amazing experience for people. We want
Wow.
to give back.
Yeah.
And so it was like suddenly the ego's out the door.
Yeah.
And I really felt that as a listener, like in the GA, you know, having a great old time.
Wow.
And I think,
And that's why they tend to like invite audience members up, don't they?
Yep. Yeah,
And
and
that
it's
kind of thing.
collaborate with local artists.
Wow.
And then they're obviously doing all the stuff with like the recycling and like pedaling on bikes for power, generating power, and doing all these cool things.
Mm-hmm.
to kind of make the world a better place, as cheesy as that sounds, but the kind of message of love and service and stuff really was felt. I thought that was it's a good little kind of something to work towards as an artist. It's like not all about me.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, because as a profession, and I work in mental health, I find that, you know, when you are serving others, we're both spiritual too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's that whole thing of serving, and that really makes quality of life for yourself a lot better. This is why I'm doing Kiwi Radio. You know, like, no one pays me, but it's my way of serving the artist community, and it's fun too, because it gives access and experiences that, you know, for me as a music fan, I would not otherwise have. Like, oh my god, I have Coco Charles in my garage right now, you know, that kind of vibes. So if I was fanboying, which I kind of slightly am, by the way. So I'm trying to hide it. I'm masking it really well.
You're so great. No, I like honestly applaud you for that, because it's awesome. Like, there's a place for people like me.
Yeah, create a space, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. So thank you.
Well, we're gonna do what you do best, and that is music.
Yeah, should I play my song that I've written about my 3-year-old, because I've already talked about that?
That sounds legit. Let's do it. So
this is the first time probably it's on the record somewhere.
I love the patch that you've chosen.
I know.
That was not me. That was you, right?
Well, yeah, this is actually like more of a piano sound, but I think this is quite retro. It suits the Sega in the background.
Yeah, it's got that FM vibe,
Yeah, totally. It suits the 80s shoulder pads that I've got.
Feel free to change, piano patch anytime. It's your set.
Yeah, cool. So we
So
ready?
take us back. This is a Coco Charles mini show, really?
It is.
But taking it to the internet, really.
Yeah, it is. Yep. No, I haven't. Only a few people have heard the song. But it's one that my husband, who was like out for work, and then I just went downstairs, and I often think songwriting is like excavating. So you're digging for stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't really know what's going to come out.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So I'll often go down into my my music cave.
Yeah.
And this song just kind of came out, and it was one of those ones where you're like kind of in tears at the end. I'm like, oh wow, I've struck gold kind of thing.
Yeah. Love it.
And it's just really honest.
What's it called?
It's called You and I.
I definitely haven't heard the song.
No.
Right. Coco Charles, live on Kiwiradio.nz.
Okay. Here we go.
I'll still love you on your worst day. Wipe the cinnamon off your face. Or be the name you called in the middle of the night. I'll be your walls and I'll be your roof. Make you feel bulletproof. I'll take you in my arms and not let you go. Now I've heard the rumors. There's something about sons and the mothers. Now I'm a believer. And I can't help but think that one day I'll find the arms that carry you won't always be mine. But boy, I will love you for all of my life. So can we slow down the part that's just you and I love the moment that you wake up and all the words on your lips and the way your body feels right next to mine. If you're my world, baby, I'm your room. I'll let my years circle you until the day comes when you don't need them to. Now I've heard the rumors. There's something about sons and the mothers. Now I'm a believer. And I can't help but think that one day I'll find the arms that carry you won't always be mine. But boy, I will love you for all of my life. So can we slow down
your best. I'll make you feel you're right where you belong. And I'll call you mine until I can't. Give you every chance to light up my heart. 'Cause you make me feel I'm right where I belong. And I can't help but think that one day I'll find the arms that carry you won't always be mine. But boy, I will love you for all of my life. So can we slow down the part that's just you and I? Yeah, can we slow down the part that's just you and I?
So Chloe, Coco,
Yeah,
I do have a rent a crowd today.
great. Thank
So-
you. I love it.
They're vibing,
Yeah,
man.
they are vibing. Yeah.
Having fun. Especially you, Joe, in the front. I don't know. Pick the first name that came. Beautiful.
Thank you.
That's about
Yeah.
your. About
My
your
little
child.
3-year-old. Yeah.
Aw, so cute. Have you played it? To
Him?
Yeah.
I did play it to him the other day and he was just like, stop playing. And now I need to write a song for my girls because I just feel like
Yeah,
that. I've
I
got to
feel
keep
like-
it fair.
Yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
an idea, but I just haven't, haven't worked on it. The title for that song is called Pretend You Said, because they often play like pretend play and they're like, pretend
Yeah.
you said this, pretend you said this.
Oh yeah, I love
So we'll see how that goes. Just need some time to do that.
Speaking of, as we age, as we in this finite third planet that we live in, I think a lot of people lose that sense of play. That I think that's the great thing about being an artist is you were saying, you're in the studio, you're trying to discover something until something hits. That's play in itself, right? That's
Yep. Oh, definitely. You have to turn your brain off in some ways. It's like just go. I was working with a producer recently. He said, "Follow the white rabbit."
ooh, yeah,
So it's like,
that's cool.
yeah, just follow where there's like a little something sparkly and pursue that until it's,
Nice.
until you've run out of thing and where it's moved somewhere else and you
Yeah.
follow it. Often, like if I'm labouring over a section, like a verse, whatever,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I actually just need to put the tools down and go for a walk or come back to that in a few days because
Yeah.
I'm, there was one song I was writing recently.
Yeah.
I think I've got maybe at least 10 different versions of a verse, all variations of the same thing, and then I had about 2 weeks distance from it, and then I came back to my original idea that I thought I like that the best. And I was like, why was I, slaving over this section? I should have just
Yeah.
left it. But I think you need other people in your world to
Yeah.
affirm the good ideas.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I think sometimes as a solo artist, you don't have the bandmates, you don't have,
Yeah.
whatever it takes
Yeah.
for someone to go, oh, actually, no, stick with that idea. That's great, or whatever. And so sometimes you're a lot of self-doubt and things.
I was listening to an interview of one of the old cats. I don't know, I can't remember his name. He was a really great producer, and he was saying that for him as a successful songwriter, he's the patron of that success because, royalties go to him. Mm-hmm. But he's always come in a mindset that music or art is really kind of evolves when a community is involved. Like, it inspires, it does this. So I'm a firm believer of that. And me as well, I used to be in a band, 4-piece band. Now I'm doing some solo stuff just for fun. And I want to ask you, when you get those songwriting blocks, we are 2024 now, leading to 2025. So there's lots of new tools, such as AI. Now, where I'm going with this is, hear me out. I was writing a song recently, and I was stuck on what to put on verse 2. I was like, I just don't know. So I used like ChatGPT, and I was like, I don't know if this is cheating, but it's still, I had everything else. I had verse 1, and I was like, write me a verse 2 of this in the style of.
Wow.
And I didn't plagiarize what it came out with, but I for me, like random words that I might not have thought of. That's what happened. So I took like a few words and I was like, okay, cool. Like this is verse 2. Like, so it was like an assistance tool. It wasn't like a straight to like, because I don't think AI is really going to replace creativity, right?
Nah.
And people think about like, AI is actually not that smart, but it's likened to, back in the day I used to grab random books from the library and I would just flick through a random page. Even like, some of the most famous books, like, I go to the Bible and I just they call it Bible roulette.
Yeah.
But like just to kind of spark something, like almost hack my own brain to kind of, so that's my story. What about you? Like
With
what?
AI.
Not AI, but like how do you hack the creative brain when it does go to those, like you run out of ideas and it is only you, so you don't have that luxury of other co-writers. How do you hack your own brain?
Yeah, I think for me it's all about the start of the process. So I was like, I'll start the process by writing in like a DAW, which is digital audio workstation. So not writing at my piano, which is like my safe, comfortable, most happy writing space. So I was writing from, starting with a beat and all the rest of it. So that's like a good place to start. And it came out with something completely different. And then another song I wrote was, I'm going to write as if I'm write a song in Taylor Swift style.
Wow.
And I'm going to write it for someone else.
Yeah.
And ended up with a really cool poppy song that I probably wouldn't release under my own name, but
Right.
it was like a solid pop song. And that was just a really effortless process, which
Cool.
was great. And then you had someone in your mind kind of furnishing your imagination with like getting into their world and how that might look and feel and stuff. And then another process I started with the other day was just getting a free sound off, freesound.org or whatever it is.
I don't know that website. That's a good.
It's just literally called Free Sound. It's like a free version of Splice.
Oh, nice.
And I got this really cool 80s, it was called like Beetlejuice something, and it's like it was in like E minor and in 3/4. So again, like I would not have picked to start a song in E minor and do it in 3/4.
Okay.
But it's this awesome. It's created this random song that is actually
Cool.
really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so that was kind of, so I guess all of that to say the start place changed the start. And so over
Yeah, I
summer
get it.
I don't have a piano with me.
Okay.
So I'm gonna pick up the guitar.
Yeah.
And I
Nice.
can only do G shapes on the guitar, so that's a
Okay.
bit boring. So I might just like get some like tune it into some Bon Iver type.
I did that once.
Yeah.
I picked I think it was Dadgad
Oh
tuning.
yeah.
And I don't normally do it.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of open resonating
Yeah.
notes, and
Lush and beautiful.
a lot of open tunings are great because you can literally like, press 1 or 2 frets, and I don't know, it's just a different mindset.
Yeah. So that's
And-
gonna be me over summer. It's just
Yeah, just experiment, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Do it. Yeah, I love it.
There's also like another idea I've had recently is I found this awesome song that I love, and I might say to one of my amazing keys friends, like, can you do like a backing track in this style?
Yeah.
And then I'll write over top of it, like pretend like I'm a
Yeah.
top liner doing that. So as opposed to me creating the harmony in the keys, like
Yeah.
someone else's version of harmony, because I think I tend to just do the same things quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
I'd
yeah.
love to here's my ask. If you have a Google Drive that's shared to like some close-knit friends, I'd love to like put my hat in the mix. I call it a mix-off because some artists do this. They get to a stage where they're like, I don't just have one producer, I have 3. And they mix off.
That's
That's a
crazy.
real Nashville thing too.
Oh my god, it's
like
so
where you have
competitive.
Yeah, dude, like in Nashville, like your barista is probably way better at music than
Yeah.
anyone that. I did that the other day at a local. I live locally in Auckland, and my barista is this big as, not physically, I mean like creatively, amazing singer. I have to shout them out. They're Ben and Brody. and they have a song called Open Up. And I remember hearing it on TV going, that's so cool, like, because it's their brother, sister, they're doing harmonies, and it was just like a really nice, it was like a really poppy song. And then she's serving me coffee, and I'm like, you're Brody, dude. Like, and there's that too, right? That,
Yep.
you know, sometimes I feel like as a creative industry, you do get the 1%ers of like the Coldplays that make it, but there's still this big pool of really amazing, creative, talented people. But for one reason or another, you know, life gets in the way, parenthood, jobs, careers, but it doesn't stop them from being like an amazing talent. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, I'm in awe sometimes. Like Keb Hart, I played earlier, he's been doing music for 60 years now, and the cool thing about Keb is he said that he's got this amazing backing band that do, I think, you know, his guitarist has played for Eric Clapton kind of styles, you know,
Wow.
session stuff. And he was like, yeah, we just booked a studio and we did live takes, no click track, and it'll be like 4 takes and we'll keep the second one, that kind of thing. That's the real, like, you know, back in the day when Elvis would record in Sun Records, and just because the budgets weren't there, you know, that, you know, they only had X amount of money to book 8 hours or whatever it was. So they really had to do a lot of pre-production and rehearsing. And to me, when you're not recording to a click track, it's actually got like a certain vibe. It's got a certain, I don't know, magic to it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So that's what, but he, you know, he's 60 years in, right? But he didn't start, like, as a 20-year-old, he probably really sucked.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
we were saying before, like artistry, I'm writing better songs than I ever wrote when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know there's people that come onto the scene with a lot of depth, and they come on with really good support around them, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
But from my experience has been that I definitely have got better over time.
Yeah.
But it's so hard because the pressures of life are right there as well.
Yeah.
And so you're creating at times with what feels like a gun to your head. Like, I'm in really confined little moments trying to find something, or, you know, like I posted on my Instagram this morning, my little boy's sitting next to me with his motorbike going up and down the keyboard.
Yeah.
You know, like, or someone's shouting. I have so many voice memos. I'm recording something and someone's shouting at me to go and do something. And then, of course, you've got financial pressures.
Yeah.
And
mortgages.
yeah, and it's like everything just feels like it's a little bit at odds.
Yeah.
But I and even like late nights, you're gigging late nights, and
I
then you're
used
being
to-
woken up early, and so I'm like,
I used to gig 3 nights a week, late nights. I'm talking like I used to host like a Kiwi music showcase at Shadows, which is a student bar, 3 nights a week, and I'd come home at 4 in the morning. No, because pack down was 2,
yeah,
and then I'd have work at like 7.
yeah, and you can't do that when you're a little bit older, you know, like
You're right.
that's your 20s vibe.
And also it's not a sustainable lifestyle. You know, I was eating junk food because that was the only thing open.
Yeah, or if you're on the road, just like Macca's, and you know, and so it's trying to go. This is a priority for me at least.
Yeah.
And what does that look like in the most sustainable, life-giving way? And I don't think I've quite nailed that yet. But next year is it's a priority for me to release a bunch of my songs.
That's good.
So
You've had the space, and I think for kids under 5 especially, like for me, they always say that like it's a season.
Yeah.
It's a season where there's like a tornado has hit your house and you like forget to eat, and you're just not even in that mind zone,
you've
right?
got Marmite stains all over your
But-
nice linen couch and all the rest of it. Yeah.
What I love about I call it graduation in life. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I got married and I did it the right kind of order.
Mm-hmm.
I got married, then I had a kid, and for me, my quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
This is for me because a little quirky thing about me is my dad left my mum before I even was born, essentially. So I left without a father figure, and that's why I kind of went into the disability sector, because I've got that level of empathy with people that, you know, don't have the tools that other neurotypical people might have. And I remember though, but that grace of learning, and it is a level of trauma, but you know, you over time you grieve it, and then you kind of keep going, and you almost treasure it. And so now as a dad, for me, when I had my son, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna break the cycle, and I'm gonna be like the best dad possible and the best husband.
Yeah.
And that kind of, because I think when you're 20, you kind of dream of that rock and roll life, and it's almost like it's not really real. I remember in London, I did catering for celebrities. I was shared a urinal with Ewan McGregor. That's the highlight of my moment. I snuck into an Eric Clapton backstage,
Whoa.
seeing him from the side stage. All these moments, and I remember I don't know, seeing the paparazzi out there, and I was like, all the fancy photos are so framed, but then when you take a seat back, they're just people with building a career. It's almost like they could be in any field. So but the product is their lifestyle. So the product is showing the gloss and the fast cars. For all we know, they could be hiring a car. It's not. So,
Yeah.
but the product is that lifestyle. And then as I age now, though, I feel like as I've grown, I've come to a point where I've got gratitude in where I am. So it's no longer about trying to compete with other people's lifestyles and stuff. It's how can I best value my time here? And to me, it's reaching to community, because for me, happiness comes in community. It's that purpose, passion.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's a certain reality check that a lot of people maybe never phase out of. And then, but if you go, I'm happy with being the best dad I can, and that's
That's good. I had a friend recently who's both him and his wife are amazing musicians, and they said their daughter doesn't even really like music because the music represents taking them away from her.
yeah.
So it's for
There's that.
me, I don't want to, as much as I would have loved to, be touring around the world and doing all that stuff, and maybe that is in my future at some point.
Yeah.
It's certainly not the right season for me to be doing that. So, I mean, all I'm hoping for, I guess, is, a way to make music regularly, and for me to find people that are that love my music and that
Yeah,
they've-
I love
that
your
connect
music.
with. Thank you. But so it's quite realistic in that sense, which I don't know if that's a good thing, but I'm not going to give up. I had a couple of moments about 2 years ago where I was in the water, and one was in a rip at Whangamata, and so it was
Whoa.
super scary. But I obviously got out, and then another one was in the estuary, and I was just floating along, bobbing along. And
Yeah.
I just got this real sense of, it was Chloe, where are you swimming in the wrong waters, and where are you kind of in the slipstream of kind of your giftings and your calling? And at that time, I was really wrestling with my identity post motherhood,
Yeah.
and vocational identity. I was thinking, oh, maybe I should be a real estate agent. Nothing wrong with that, but I was I just need out of whatever it is that I'm doing. But I really just got a sense that, oh no, music is actually what makes me me. It makes
Yeah.
me feel like I come most alive,
Yeah.
and I feel I don't have to be classically successful to feel successful or not. I like the idea of just doing it, and that's
Yeah.
quite rewarding in and of itself. Being here today, that's fun. It's great.
It's fun, right?
Yeah. So it's taking
And-
the pressure off.
Also, sometimes, for me, even my most, I guess, successful album, whatever you want to call it, is with a band called This Flight Tonight. Album called Friendly Fire on Spotify. It actually ended up on Coldplay's website at one point.
Whoa.
It was in a video game, Team Fortress 2. One song called Friendly Fire, because it's tag team fragging, and I don't know, maybe they were just searching the word,
Yeah.
and then it just matched. And yeah, and to this day, every now and then I just get a message saying that song has connected with me because this or that, and it's just kind of it's a song kind of lives on as it's like a child. It just kind of lives on. For example, your discography, Freak Out, for me kind of stays with me because to me that song is vulnerability on a plate.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's just how
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
when I listen to it. I'm
Yeah.
like, this girl is being really vulnerable. The song's great, it's really upbeat, but when you read the lyrics and stuff, it's like a sense of honesty, and it just always resonated with me. So
Thank you. Oh, yeah, that's exactly my vibe. You summed it up. I want to
Yeah.
be almost this persona of like a fun, upbeat Sparkles, but there's like a bit of a sting in the tail. Like
Yeah,
there's like
a
depth.
sting in the tail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's like
I
a bit
that.
of like, you read the lyrics and you're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
That's definitely my kind of thing.
Have you seen the documentary Searching for Sugar Man? It's
Yes, remind me, what is that about again?
60 Rodriguez,
Yeah.
who's an American musician whose career seemed to fade into obscurity in the 1970s. Like, he was a laborer in America. Little to his knowledge, like, he was as big as Elvis Presley in South Africa.
That's right.
Because, and is the weirdest thing, because people would, like, copy tapes. So they wouldn't
Yeah.
officially buy the album, but everyone was copying cassette
Yeah.
tapes of his music and passing it on to
Wow.
friends. And
Yeah.
I guess there's a I mean, if you go to South Africa, and I've had a few South African friends, with apartheid and all the history behind it, it's a real turmoil, chaotic country. And so, but through poverty, it got a lot of people through. Like, his music got them through. And I just remember thinking that, like, your music can actually be a big part of someone's soundtrack. Like,
Oh yeah, and that's what I love about music. Like, I used to say and I still say it, songs are like sailboats.
sailboats.
You just like
Yeah.
put them into the water and you don't really know where they're going to go, and you trust that they'll find the place
Yeah.
into the right people's ears
Yeah.
and hearts, and often they do, but you don't know, and it's quite hard to quantify it, because you, as an artist, you think, oh, I've done all this work and you know,
Yeah.
it hasn't really been picked up, or it hasn't,
Yeah.
not making any money from it, whatever the case, but it doesn't mean that the process is not worth pursuing.
Sailboats is a really great imagery for me, because there's this other league of musicians, and I will call them musicians, DJs and producers, the people that remix stuff. And a great kind of case for that would be Fatboy Slim. There's a song he raised, Praise You Like I Should. And he ripped the a cappella off an old vinyl, and he had to clear it, obviously, with the artist. Artist was still alive. She sends him a Christmas card every year because he breathed a new life into it. The interview was like, he just really liked the words. And the original artist, I can't remember her name, but she said, I think she was talking about veterans in America, in the World War at the time. So it was like a really heavy song, but he turned it into a different thing, and not many records get listened to 20 years later. People still listen to that song.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that sailboat imagery is really fun, because whether it's in our own lifetime, and I would hope so, because at least you've planted a seed and you get to sit under the shade, right, and enjoy it. But sometimes music lives on beyond us, and it's still a gift to humanity. Like, for me, it's like Michael Jackson. There's just, people just love his music still. So it's a gift to humanity.
It really is. Yeah, and you have to just let it be a gift, and let it,
Yeah.
go back to what we said before, serve the people that it needs to serve. And
Yeah.
I think, you're right. It's there are a lot of people that bring songs back to life, like revive them. Like, I think of the Tracy Chapman song, Fast Car, like, in and
Really?
of itself is amazing. One of my favorite songs.
Yeah?
And that guy, like, he just won a Grammy.
Who?
I don't know, some artist. He's just like done a full remix of it, a cover of it. And it's gone gangbusters. I don't know if the kids still say gangbusters these days, but it's literally like a whole bunch of people
Luke
that didn't.
Holmes?
Yeah, that's the one.
He's
who
a
did
country
it.
singer.
Yeah, he's done a version of it, and so a whole bunch of people that don't know Tracy Chapman suddenly know that song.
There's a fun sci-fi movie that I watched, and there's a scene where a guy comes back from the future, and he's like, "Yeah, no, guys, legit, I'm from the future." And they're like, "Whatever, that doesn't exist. Like, prove it to us. Like, sing a song that's a hit in your time." And he started singing a Cranberries song,
Oh yeah, I used to love the Cranberries. My mum did.
and they start laughing, and they're like, what are you on? Like, that's Cranberries. They're like, no, in my time it's sung by this person, and it's a hit then, I don't know, I think that was a really cool moment.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, speaking of cool moments, we're here to celebrate Coco Charles as a musician, songwriter, and this is really your moment for us.
Oh, cool.
I'm grateful. This is the Tiny Desk kind of vibe, but it's kind of like a special show.
Yeah.
In a way.
No, it's great.
I really treasure this forever, I'm sure. And and I've said it again. You've started a trend. I've got a wall of fame, which I'm hoping to invite other friends of yours or anyone else that
Yeah.
if you're listening to this in the future and you're in North Shore, Auckland, please hit me up. Instagram's probably the best way to hit me up right now. Instagram.com /Kiwiradio.nz or email me at kiwiradio@proton.me. That is the best way. Kiwiradio.nz as a website also has a voice memo function, and I had Megan Burt from Canada tell me that there's not enough radio stations that have that, because she sent a bunch of stings and stuff. She's like, why don't radio stations just, this is so convenient.
That's cool.
So anyways, I'm ranting.
No, it's great.
Song 2, let's go. And what, should we aim for 3?
Yeah. I've changed my order as we've gone, but
Yeah?
the song is, I think the song kind of sums up a little bit of what we've been talking about, so I'll play it for y'all. Y'all, this is called Reconcile.
All right, take it away. If you're listening, by the way, this is Coco Charles playing live on Kiwiradio.nz.
All those years that I've lost, I'm a relic, I'm not new in town. Another year out the sun, I'm depressed on my birthdays now. Silly milestones, what do they know? They don't mark all the ways I've grown. Ooh, I can't undo all those things I want to. So help me reconcile. Help me reconcile. I made my mistakes, I was young, but now I've grown up. My mind on replay, but I'm done. It's time to grow up. Help me reconcile. Help me reconcile.
Sorry, I forgot my lyrics. Da-da. Here we go.
Am I clinging to things I should let go? Am I delusional for thinking I've still got time, plenty ahead that's worth waiting on? Silly little thoughts, loyal to a fault. I can't help that I still want more. Ooh, I can't undo all those things I want to. So help me reconcile. Help me reconcile. I made my mistakes, I was young, but now I've grown up. My mind on replay, but I'm done. It's time to grow up. Help me reconcile. Nothing's truly wasted. I can almost taste it. Nothing's truly wasted. I can almost taste it. But ooh, I can't undo all those things I want to. So help me reconcile. Help me reconcile. I made my mistakes, I was young, but now I've grown up. My mind on replay, but I'm done. It's time to grow up. Tell me reconcile. Nothing's truly wasted. I can almost taste it. Oh, nothing's truly wasted. I can almost taste it.
Oh, this is so much fun, isn't
Sorry
it?
about the mistakes, but it's alright.
Well, that's live.
Yeah, it is.
And that's the fun part about a Tiny Desk concert is the bloopers, I guess.
Yeah,
it's the
keeps me
rawness.
real. I mean, I keep doing this. Like, when the verse 2 comes around, I'm like, what is the verse 2? Maybe I'm just gonna blame my mum brain.
I use visual aids a lot when I do like cover gigs, for example.
Oh, that's a good idea.
By visual aids, I mean like an iPad with lyrics.
Oh yeah, no, I wish I could do that.
I can't go through a gig without it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so hard to remember your lyrics, and like I've
Yeah.
got quite wordy, dense lyrics.
Yeah.
The other thing I heard, you know how like back in the day philosophers did, 2 hours worth of talks, and
Okay.
they did it obviously without notes. They
Yeah.
have like the tool they use is they're walking through like an imaginary garden in their brain, and they've got
Yeah.
like little statues along the way to trigger that whatever thought they want to talk around.
Ah.
So I'm thinking, now that I'm talking out loud, it'd be quite good to talk. What is that verse about? What is the statue for that verse?
I, on the show, have interviewed an architect, and we did a 1 hour segment on the positivity that music brings to people. Mm-hmm. It was a really great talk. You need to check it out on the archives. But he was the one guest. I guess it's because he's an architect. Mm-hmm. And, you can imagine when you're an architect, you don't just start hammering nails. You need a blueprint of some sort to create the outcome, the end thing. It was like a TED talk. I said to him it was an hour. He had a blueprint of, it's not like it was scripted, but he had a blueprint of exactly that, at first 20 minutes I want to talk about this, the second 20 minutes this. So it was like a blueprint. And it was one of the best interviews I'd ever done because it was so condensed. It was all killer, no filler. The whole hour.
Every word count.
Like every word did count.
Yeah, that's great.
It was a real skill, to be honest. And for me, I love philosophy. I feel like this is why I love having the chatty part of it, is I consider myself a student for life.
That's cool.
And the thing I love about artists is just how the brain works. It's like there's no other thinker out there. They're so unique.
No, like I would love to do like a MRI, while I'm getting, because the thing is your brain is, you're trying to remember your lyrics, you're trying to sing properly, you're trying to remember the chords, and then you're moving on stage, and then you're thinking you're never actually trying to be in the moment. You're actually thinking before the moment, particularly for singing. You're like, where am I going with this phrase? And you want to be planning for that. So that's why it's like, if there was some sort of like brain imaging while you're doing,
That could be a real cool, fun science project.
I know, because like honestly, my friend and I were doing this big Christmas spectacular thing, and she's got one of a smartwatch, and she said her heart rate was like over or some crazy thing the entire time. She'd done like equivalent of a marathon in that hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's every time I'm on stage, it's so draining and like physical. Even if you're not that physical, because you're just like, you're thinking and your brain's working so hard. That's why it's good. I think it keeps you young.
I heard that too with athletes, that they become in the zone, and a lot of them listen to music. I think this is the same podcast. Santosh is the guy I'm talking about. Santosh is an architect, and he was saying that, athletes or people that are in the zone, or maybe professionals or successful people, they put on music because it's, and close back to earphones like what we're doing now, because it keeps you in the zone, because there's no distractions. It's all the like positive thing. So you play a song that you relate with or that amps you up, and there's no distractions. There's, because that's how you perform the best. If that makes sense. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to have kind of a lot of focus. Even in the writing phase, it's like very focused. And I think, do you know StrengthsFinder personality test?
No.
Oh, it's so good.
What's that?
It's so good. It's like a kind of a Myers-Briggs equivalent, but it's my fave. It's StrengthsFinder. So I've got focus in my top 10. I think that's the only reason I can like focus on songwriting. I can do it for 4 hours and obsess over this one little section, or listen to something on repeat. Yeah. Because I'm just like, I don't have any kind of sense of what is going on around me. Like, I'm just focused on getting this part right. I mean, you probably relate to this as like an engineer type thing. It's a special quality to listen to something on repeat. Like, I had a neighbour in Sydney who I was mixing one of my songs, and he got a broom and he like and shoved
broom?
it,
Okay, yeah.
up on the ceiling, like,
Oh wow.
turn it up and how annoying it is to hear something on repeat.
Yeah. My wife does that too. She's like, when I'm like listening to or creating a new song, and you think about it, it's 3 or 4 minutes of. Oh, there are people watching us, by the way. So,
Oh, cool.
Please chat on youtube.com/@Kiwiradio.nz. Don't be a lurker. Whatever. You can if you want. Some people are shy. But yeah, you know, she gets nuts because she's like, you're listening to the 3 or 4 minute piece of song, for 8 hours.
Yeah. It's wild.
And I
eh?
usually top it up and I'll like listen to it in the car the next morning.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I become obsessed.
Yeah, me too.
Because especially when you're recording, that's a piece of you. That's an art piece that sticks around. Mm-hmm. How do you know? I want to know this from you as a fellow co-writer. How do you know when something is finished? Like, do you give it a week to breathe? Because I'm a little bit like, I go with a vibe. Like, sometimes I go, this feels good. I'm going to release it 3 hours after. I think I did that with your remix.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, it's fun. My friend Dougal, by the way, loves that.
Oh, cool.
He loves the bass
vibe.
line.
Oh, cool.
He loves the bass line.
Awesome.
And I'm like, wait till you hear the original.
Yeah.
Because you and I were a little bit like that. You're like, well, I don't know. Have a
Wow.
remix of something that's not finished. And I'm like, trust me, Coco, just go with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. I mean, I think, again, kind of what we're talking about with, like, having people validate your ideas and having other people to confirm that your suspicions that something is done. I think it's really, like, I remember, I don't know if it was the Beatles guy, John Lennon, who said write a song to completion in the first setting. And so I often try to do that, and
Yeah.
I'm not looking for a perfect song.
No.
In that way, but I'm getting the essence of the song out in one while I'm feeling that thought.
Yeah.
And because it's very difficult to come at it again when you've potentially even moved on just a slight, like a smidge.
Yeah.
Because it's quite, you know, therapeutic doing that whole songwriting process. So sometimes the art of writing the song is enough to process that idea. And so it's actually just very difficult to come in and feel those feelings again and to add
for sure.
more. So I think there's that initial right to the end of that idea.
I love it. Yeah.
And then come in at it with an editing.
Yeah.
With a scalpel.
Yeah.
And that's a bit more painful, that process.
Because creativity and muse, I heard this, like, it comes in ebbs and flows. Like, there'll be a week where you've written 7 songs. Or there'll be, like, months of just dryness.
Yeah.
Going back to Fatboy Slim, he mentioned his breakthrough album. I want to say it's Rockefeller. What's it called? Rockefeller? I don't know what it's called. But he did 3 or 4, like, big hits in a space of 1 weekend.
Whoa.
And I've heard that time and time again. Bon Iver, who recorded with an SM57, $200 mic. He was going through a really rough patch. I don't know if it was this or that, but it was really... He just sat in his cabin for a weekend. And again, it was a weekend thing. And I think for us musicians, for me anyways, I'm capturing a feeling. I'm all about, like, am I feeling vulnerable? Am I feeling scared? Am I feeling happy? I want to capture this feeling and just treasure it.
Yeah, that's good.
But I like where you're going with, take it to the finish line as much as possible. Now,
Yeah, and it's recognizing what stage of the creative journey you're on. You don't want to, in that initial phase, you don't want to be too critical or you know, like, even watch your mental health when you're writing. Like, don't you know, shoot down ideas before they've even, you know, been explored to their full potential.
Yeah.
And let that hypercritical phase happen when you are in the editing or producing phase. It's like, actually, this is not the right lyric, or it doesn't scan well, or it doesn't like it you know, there's kind of a friction between the harmony and the melody and the timing or whatever it is. Like, let that be the phase where you are critical. And then I also think there's beauty in not going back too much to do.
No.
Like, there's a few songs that I love, and I'm like, I love those original ideas.
Yeah.
And there's a temptation to make them more poetic or
Right.
creative, but I don't want to have that flogging a dead horse kind of feeling where I'm like, why have I gone back to spend time on that? Like, let it be it.
There's two sides to that. I have a song called Baby Love Hurts, which is a 10-year-old song now. And, I mean, it comes in ebbs and flows, but it's originally a piano song. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm going to reimagine this. Like, so it wasn't remixing or reimagine. Like, I want to take the fundamental elements and just do something different. Yeah. And so I ended up, putting bass line, my own drums and everything. And it was just... And I released it as a reimagination, and then the year, so it was like Reimagine 2024 version.
That's cool. And
that can happen because I feel like I think of it like it's like a recipe that's family generational. You might Grand Nana, who by the way makes amazing pasta. Shout out Nana. She's got this old recipe that the family still don't know what she puts in it. Yeah, I don't know. It could be, and they tried to recreate it, and it's not quite the same. Like you the palettes are kind of similar, but it's not the same.
Yeah. Do you what's your vibe on the whole releasing schedule? Because the thing is, people are releasing singles mostly now, and people almost people don't have an appetite for albums, or it takes a lot to listen to an album.
I think. This is just my take on it. Yeah. I think as a young musician, I really recommend building a team. So if you're in your early 20s, find a label, whatever. Because what that does is I remember my first signing, I got signed at 21.
Oh, jeepers.
Yeah. Good. Keep it down low. And the record did well in Germany and Netherlands. Like I'm talking, I don't want to say the number, but I did well. And I earned in pounds. Tips. For God's sake, we own a home. This isn't from ill-gained gains. But it was a windfall. But it was a really short windfall. Okay. And I'm lucky I didn't blow it on cocaine or something. Because people do that.
Yeah, they do.
And I think for me as a spiritual person, God's a really important part. Mm. So it was for me, it was this is an honor. Mm-hmm. I am not. This income, this windfall is not mine. Mm-hmm. This is my, not duty, but it's I'm a guardian of this. Mm-hmm. So straight away, I was build a studio. Because for me, it was if I have a studio, that's it. I don't have to, I find that those first records, I was always relying on producers and other people to take it to the finish line. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they never did. I did music videos that I never got the footage back or, and it was no, I can have ownership. If I know the process, I can go from start to finish. Yeah. I can have a glass of water whenever I'm thirsty. Mm-hmm. And that I had that mindset and I'm really grateful because, I mean, now it's full circles, 360 is giving back. I've had musicians that are, 17 and they've never had any exposure or 60-year-old Kev Hart. Right, and I've got this platform now that it's a giving back. Yeah. And it's never been a self-centric kind of journey. It's about others.
That's awesome.
The celebration of others. I'm getting emotional because I feel passionate about it. Mm. But, so, that happened. Mm. And you were going to say tips?
I was just going to say, what's your vibe on frequency of releasing?
Yeah. Going back to your question, and I go on tangents all the time, so thank you for centering me again. Okay, I'll answer it as directional and non-political as possible because, not a politician. I'm not going to side skirt. That's okay. Your question, my answer. What was your question again?
It's basically... people's appetite for
schedules,
albums.
Yeah.
Do you
okay,
do
so
EPs?
when you're young, I think it's good to get advice because you don't kind of know what you're doing. Mm. So the best piece of advice from me is when I was 20, I was writing Rage Against the Machine type music, techno, trance, drum and bass, ballads. I just didn't know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I was experimenting. And shout out to Irvin, who was my first manager. He said, Ralph, firstly, sing lower. You're not Tom York. Secondly, I think you're a sort of folky ballad guy. I was like, you mean the ones that hurt me the most? I don't want to revisit that every time. He's like, no, that's vulnerable. It's real. You're not talking about some lifestyle you don't have, because I also tried rap.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
I was like,
love
I
rap.
rapped about some sort of what's that Netflix show with the cops? Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, I love that show.
There was a verse where I was like, "Yo, hanging, flinging with the Brooklyn Nine," and they were like, and I'm like, "What the fuck, bro?
That's
Like,
awesome.
you're not
Yeah.
Jay-Z."
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like I was experimenting, but it took someone with a critical ear, right?
Yeah.
This guy was listening to good records. And he was like, "This is your strengths. Play
Yeah.
on that."
Cool.
I'm glad he did, because that Friendly Fire album, the quirk is, we rewrote that album 3 times.
What?
This is what I mean.
Oh my gosh.
Always Be Mine was the first single, and that got TV airplay. Thank you, Juice TV. That was like the only song on TV. got. But that first round, I call it round robin, so 9 to 12 songs. He said write an album. He liked 1 song.
Wow.
Yeah, 1 song,
Yeah.
and that was Always Be Mine. And he's like, write more like that.
Yeah.
I was like, what? So I tried. Second round robin was 12 songs again. So I wrote another album in the space of 6 months too.
Wow.
At the time, I had the luxury of time,
Yeah.
because I was a student.
Yeah.
I didn't
your
have a
20s.
job.
Yeah.
I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
And I was living at home.
Yeah.
That was great. That was a really good challenge. It got to 3 songs. So he liked
Only
3
2
songs.
of those. Oh, wow.
So 2 more it
Yeah.
added. And I was like, okay, I kind of get where you want me to be.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it now.
Yeah.
And then the third round robin, it was like the full album. So 9 songs. So it added another 6.
Oh, wow.
But I'm glad that happened, because to this day, I think it was my strongest album, because of course it was the best of. And I knew my strengths by then. I knew how to sing. I knew this, that. So I knew what sounded authentic, right? That was me. That was my personality. It's like someone telling you, at school you'll get a physical ed, or at school you're a real science head. It was a team that said that wasn't friends or family, because friends or family could really be biased. They're like, every song's great.
Yeah. Yep.
It was a critical thing. And to this day, like now, again, windfall with that album, I never experienced success like that ever again. And I don't expect to. But I was thankful, because now I don't have to, how do I say it, have to be pressured with schedule. I can release whatever I want.
Yeah.
I've got I got the windfall, made the studio, I just released whatever.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then I lived real life, obviously, because I never
Yeah.
became Coldplay or anything like that. But I have a kick-ass studio,
Yeah, you do. It's great.
right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I think for me, it's a curiosity around people's appetites for listening to new music. And
Yeah.
I find, and someone said to me, don't release an album when you've got no one to listen
Well-
to it. You're not going to put on a 3-course meal and no one could turn up, So it's like drip feed
Yeah.
some singles, and then maybe which was an EP, and then when you've got a little bit more, I don't know, a bit more people having a dialogue with you. If it is a conversation between you and the people that like your music, let it be a conversation. Like start the conversation, and that is why tools like social media are really helpful, and being on places like this to get the conversation going,
Yeah.
so that people are a little bit interested in your music before you just drop an album on them. But I would love to do an album. That's like one of my life goals.
I think I told you I was in the X Factor round.
Yeah.
Let's shout out Sebastian.
Yeah.
What's his artist name?
Clovis.
Who plays with you, right?
Well,
Small world.
I opened for him, and we
Shout
did
out
uni. We did uni together.
Yeah.
So it's been really, really fun.
And again, when I was at the X Factor, there were so many indie artists that never made the cut, but I still follow them to this day. There's another girl that makes the best blues music, and where am I going with this? I feel like music is so personal. It's so unique, right? And it's the people that you share your journey with, I think, is the important part. Those lifelong friendships you curate, and the experiences, the gigs you play together.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
there's no better feeling than having a band behind you that are kick-ass, right? You've
yeah.
done it.
Yeah.
I've seen you with a band.
Yeah, no, it's
There's
awesome.
no better feeling,
Yeah.
right?
And it's also like what I've loved about the last 18 months is I've
Yeah.
got this whole new musical community and like,
Love it.
just so supportive and
Let's talk about that, please.
Okay.
So you can hold a show, you and a piano, for sure. But 2025, what's happening
well,
with
yes.
music community, said music community?
Yeah, I
What's
mean,
happening?
I've got just a fistful of songs. I'm like,
Yes, please,
yeah, like honestly, so many songs. I
Good.
just which is a
I
good
like
place-
one of them.
yeah.
Sorry, I haven't even heard it.
I've got so lots of songs. So that's a good place to start. You wouldn't want to go into a year without the songs. And I'm more like, obviously I've played some kind of like downbeat stuff today, but I'm going for like upbeat, fun, you know, high energy shows.
Fun, cool.
Obviously I can take it
Glitter.
glitter just moves
Good.
I'm more happy when I'm not
Good.
playing. Like I love playing keys,
Yeah?
but I have tried intentionally to move away from the keyboard.
Yeah.
So I've got heaps of good keys players around me. I've got amazing drummers,
Yeah.
like lots of multi-instrumentalists.
Keys are a good fundamental songwriting tool, but yeah, there's a show element too, right? So
Yeah,
you're
but also,
freeing
like,
yourself up.
Yeah, you can't. That's so hard to play rhythm on piano. So it's like,
You
there's
know,
all
my
this-
first label said that. They
Yeah.
said when you're putting on a show, because they did showcases for me and
Yeah.
stuff to get me, you know, I
Yeah.
played some cool shows, like supported I Am Giant,
Oh, cool.
Tahuna Breaks back in the day.
Yeah.
Again, short stint, but they said, Ralph, I know you write the songs and you write it on piano and guitar, but when you're doing a show, can you please just not play anything?
Yeah.
Let your band play. And all I want you to do, he said, was he told me to look in the back of the room
Yeah.
and picture an imaginary person at the back of the room, and I'm singing to the back of the room.
Yeah.
Because what that does is when you, regardless of where you're seated, front, whatever, it looks like you're looking at that person. So you're connecting with as much of the room as possible. They're like, oh my God, that whole time Coco was singing to me. She's like, no, I was looking at door exit 8. Like,
yeah. No, like my favorite thing to do is perform. Like
Yeah. I'm so keen. I'm waiting for the next show.
Yeah, no, I did a few cool things last year, but next year, like, I would really like to be a big fan. I want to do heaps. I also want to do a series of like home gigs, like in people's
Here?
homes. Yeah, like
Here right now.
yeah. No, like literally like garden ones, like
Yeah.
bring a PA, because I think.
Love to be part of that, by the way.
Yeah, okay, great. Because honestly, like a lot of people my demographic, I'm not being like, you know, rude here, but it's very difficult to drag my friends along to like find a car park. in
People
Auckland
have
CBD.
kids. They have.
Yeah, and they don't want to do late nights. So I'm like,
Parking?
I'll come to you, but you bring your friends, and then someone.
Have you done So Far yet? So Far.
Oh no, I haven't. I've heard about it though.
That's one of the best shows I've done.
Oh, okay.
It's so like, I did it, and it was like an invite. It was like a party.
Mhm.
I want to say 70 people, but they all sat to listen. Like they were, you know, like
Cool.
they're all music enthusiasts. Not all musicians, but
Yeah.
most. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's
That's
the
so
thing.
fun.
That's so fun, but you also need to be in an environment where people are actually listening. Like I was doing.
Yeah.
A gig recently, and I was feeling so sick, but I didn't want to let the person down by pulling out last minute.
Yeah.
But everyone was just sitting there at the trestle tables eating their dinner, and I'm just playing, you know, keys, and I'm like, it's just no vibe. This is not my thing. No one's listening. I'm like, this is not serving.
Play Slayer.
Yeah, it's like, why did I say yes to that? And so it's like kind of being a little bit more intentional with the stuff
Yeah.
that I do, and it's like it's not to get something from it, but it's like I need to protect my artist heart, and if
Yeah.
I'm in an environment where I'm feeling like I'm wallpaper music or I'm not even really serving the room because they don't want to listen to my music, they just want to eat their dinner, and
Yeah.
you know,
For sure.
like that's fine.
It's finding the tribe, right?
It is finding the tribe, and that's what I need to be really intentional with next year. And
What I'd love to do, please put me on the list. And I've done this a few times now. I did, what festival? There's a festival coming up, and I did Simon Towers. He was doing, but anyways, I said, shout me a ticket and I just want to film. Like, I just want to capture the moment. I'd love to do that with you if possible. Because I think there's, and I've seen this time and time before, I think we played a gig at Backbeat
Haven't heard
above
of
Rock Shop
it.
in Queen Street.
Oh, okay, cool.
They have a venue upstairs.
Yeah.
And I remember we played a Fatboy Slim song, we played this or that, and originals, full band.
Yeah.
Someone came up afterwards and they're like, I want to buy the DVD of this performance. And I'm like, we don't have the budget or friends to do this, you know?
Yeah.
And that memory's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
I
It's
know.
gone.
It's such a shame.
It's like, for me, as a fan of your music, I think creating that tribe is great. And I think having a few other creative friends, this is what I love about, have you heard of Jeff Ong?
No. Yeah. Yes.
Jeff Ong is a cool singer-songwriter,
Yeah.
but he's always out there taking photos of his mates, taking video. He said, and I heard a interview of him with Kick Arts podcast, and he said, he's like, you know, I love doing music, but I just love being creative in general, you know? And because if he's part of that tribe, he's actually, I don't know, like his friends show up for his music videos in return, or, you know, just,
Yeah.
I don't know, it feels like a family, a tribe,
Yeah.
and again, I think it's like, what's it called? A burden shared is
Burden halved.
burden half, right? So, or many hands make lighter work is another great thing.
Yeah, and it's not limiting yourself as well. It's like, I'm a creative person, and that looks like this and this and this and this
No.
and this. And I think, not limiting yourself is key.
Coco, I'm thinking of my tummy. It's pie time
Yeah,
soon.
pie time.
Which, by the way, I'm showing you a pie.
Oh, yum.
There's a
Steak and
bakery
cheese.
nearby.
Great.
It's the least I could do. No, legit. I'm to my word. A pie though, just
And a
a pie.
V?
And no longer that, you know, high rock star budget. I'm like on a shoestring now.
Oh, join the club.
I've bought enough keyboards.
Yeah, you
For a
have. I can
lifetime.
like count like 15 in here.
There were times when I was a student I didn't eat because I was like saving for a synth.
Whoa.
Did you ever do
I'm
that?
impressed. No.
I did that. I skipped meals. There's been some blood and tears, you know.
Yeah.
This is the real thing, right?
That's great.
Because you walk in here and you go, "Wow,
Oh, yeah.
you must have rich parents or something." Like, nah, man. There were times where I couldn't eat.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. It's so
So-
cool.
Now, it's fun to share the space with you because I always said this with my friends. I said, you know, sometimes I go in here and me and my son are watching Paw Patrol, and that's the extent of the creative space
Yeah.
people.
Yep.
But then my awesome, talented musician friends come in and they breathe fire. They're like dragons, and they go, "Whew," and I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa, this space is awesome. Like,
Yeah, it's amazing.
like the fact that you're here now, you're singing some songs, which, by the way, we're closing the show now in 10 minutes.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And I'd love to hear one more song.
Yeah, cool. So I was thinking about doing Homebody because last time
Yeah.
we did it, we didn't have the lyrics, so
Yeah?
I'll sing them this time.
Okay.
What kind of keyboard sound? Do you
First
reckon
of
I
all,
go back to the 80s
introduce
one?
yourself for anyone that's listening to the second half on Radio Replay, where we can find you, basically the final plug.
Oh, okay.
So,
great.
and then the song.
Yeah, cool. So, I am on Instagram as Coco Charles Music. So that's Coco Charles Music. I often kind of mumble that. I'm on Facebook. Sorry, I'm so bad at this. Yeah, I'm just in all the usual places. And next year is going to be the year, my friends, where I actually have some music that I'm super proud of. And
Oh, wow. So excited.
and
Can you put it on Bandcamp?
yeah, so is that did you say that to me last time? Bandcamp? Okay, so not SoundCloud.
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp. And do you
It's,
do that before you do Spotify?
you can do both. So
Yeah.
Bandcamp, I mean, you can sell merch directly from it, but it's the lowest cut that platform takes. I think it's 3%, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's direct to artists. Sometimes
Yeah,
they do
that's
Friday Artist Day or something where it all goes to the artists.
Whoa.
Just stuff like that. I think they're very, I don't know, they're very artist-centered.
Yeah, and generous, that sounds.
Yeah. Whereas in Spotify, I've got tunes up there and it's going to take me 30 years to save for $1. You know?
Oh, I know. I had friends, a Psycho Gab actually, they said, they posted on their Instagram,
Psycho Gab.
yeah.
I'm going to play you in the future, by the way.
They made 250 DIY CDs and sold made $250 versus 30,000 plays on Spotify for $100.
Yeah, see?
That's so bad.
That's ridiculous. I have one patron that supports Kiwi Radio, and he's been shelling out. He works for a company. He's good. He's really good. And shout out to you, MDWH. You were there on the first album. You were there with my German label, this, that, and I've written you handwritten lyrics. I've written, we're pals. And I've never met you. You're in the South Island, but to this day, and he told me he loves the fact that I've grown from artist to podcaster because it's a different phase of my creativity because it's still a creative outlet.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But and I still do music, but the thing is, it's another slice. So it's and he just loves the fact that it's community driven, and to this day he's a patron. So thank you, MDWH. Without you, we wouldn't have a server or platform, or have these moments that we can really treasure. So Coco Charles, pie time soon.
Pie time.
But yeah. Please, thank you again.
Thank you.
This is the last song from Coco Charles before we sign off. Thank you so much for everyone listening in the future, and we really would love to have you. If you're an artist, just hit me up at Kiwiradio.nz. Let's go. Let's celebrate New Zealand music front center.
Yeah, this is cool. This is Homebody. 10 years, maybe more, watching how life gets me down. Will be the high and my low. My love, take heed, the wake is not done, but I am. Don't even bother, I'm not picking up my phone. And Monday I will lift myself, but tonight I'm not leaving the couch. Ever wonder why you don't see me out? I'm a homebody, I wanna stay home. I'm a homebody, I'm gonna stay home. I'm a homebody, I wanna stay home. I'm a homebody. It's inside, I come alive. I hate to be lame, but it's true. Let's say no, take me home. 'Cause my love, we need a night to ourselves, don't you think? Don't even bother, bet the car, baby, let's go. And Monday I will lift myself, but tonight I'm not leaving the couch. Ever wonder why you don't see me out? I'm a homebody, I wanna stay home. I'm a homebody, I'm gonna stay home. I'm happier in my house. I'm adrift in the evening crowd. I don't need another night out. I'm a homebody, I wanna stay home. I'm a homebody, I'm gonna stay home. I'm a homebody, want to be left alone with you, my love. And I can only be a homebody 'cause I got somebody to call home, to call home. What you want to myself is again, everyone else leave me alone, leave me alone. I can only be a homebody 'cause I got somebody to call home, to call home. What you want to myself is again, everyone else leave me alone, leave me alone. And Monday I will lift myself, but tonight I'm not leaving the couch. Ever wonder why you don't see me out? I'm a homebody, I wanna stay home. I'm a homebody, I'm gonna stay home. I'm happier in my house. I'm adrift in the evening crowd. Don't need another night out. I'm a homebody, I wanna stay home. I'm a homebody, I'm gonna stay home. I'm a homebody, I wanna stay home. I'm a homebody, I'm gonna stay home.
Thank you so much. That is the show. We are wrapping up. We're gonna have pie time now. If you want, if you want to sing for your lunch and complimentary pie, that's the least I could do. Please come on the show as well. And again, Chloe, thank you so much for being on the show. And it's a real honor and great memories and moment with you, one-on-one. And I hope this music reaches new ears and we'll continue to champion your music in the background.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. That about wraps up the show, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, it is close to Christmas and New Year's, so this is actually officially the final show of 2024.
Nice.
We will be back. We've got some awesome guests. Fiona Apple is going to be joining us. I think that's her name. I can't remember. But I've been following, again, it was one of those, and following her music for a while. There's a bunch of artists that are coming up on 2025. We are actually booked till March, I think. So we will be back post 6th of January, that kind of thing. Tuesday night, 7 p.m. New Zealand time, 7 to 8 p.m. New Zealand time. In the meantime, we will do replays in between, so you can still enjoy those shows. And thank you, everyone, for giving us this platform. And you enjoy the rest of your New Year's. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now, and signing off. Cheers.